Hey guys, in this video we're going to check out the fourth in the installment of the Scarr cookbook for Bazille. And this is the BZ 303, a take on the Roland 303 high resonance sound. It sounds like this. So let's jump over to the cookbook. And it says here, BZ 303, 2 filters in series. Filter 1 is responsible for the high resonance, while filter 2 adds overdrive and removes the top frequencies. The single pole LP6 supplies a full sound with an extra resonance, and the bandpass BP6 accentuates the resonant frequencies further without making everything sound too narrow. Filter 2 gain is at the maximum, which seriously distorts the signal. Double click on gain, play a few notes, turn up your nose, and then turn the gain up again. So let's go back to the sound. So what he was talking about there is this gain. If we double click on that, obviously, that peaky resonance sound disappears. So the path of this sound goes from the oscillator itself, which is set up to have a little bit of phase distortion in it, and this is modulated by the LFO1, which is activated by the pressure here. So the path goes from the oscillator into the top filter section with a cutoff just about 1 o'clock. They're calling it 91. I guess that's just increments. The LP6, which is the low pass 6 that it talks about. So it's sending actually 2 outputs out of this filter section, the LP6 and the bandpass 6. Sends over here to the second filter section, which is just a low pass 12 dB filter that is just kind of cutting off a little bit of highs here, and you can hear that. So it's just cutting a little bit of the highs off. See how the gain and the cutoff act a little bit differently, even though it sounds similar. That's the gain, and then this is the cutoff. So those 2 filters from section 1 running over to filter section 2 with a high gain. And then that section is modulated by, that's what's kind of throwing me off. I'd mentioned this earlier in one of the previous videos of doing this. It recommends in the Bazille Cookbook to use the gear porn skin, which can be found by right-clicking on that and then going to gear porn, which kind of puts everything on one interface, which is actually what I had gotten used to. For those who used the other one, maybe that one looked a little bit more familiar, but it's kind of at a loss there for a minute. So anyway, coming back to the second filter section. No, it's actually the first filter section. A couple modulations going on. We've got one, which is the mod wheel, and one which is the pitch wheel. So we'll take a look at those. So if we press down, and I'll use the mod wheel first. And then the pitch wheel. Now, this sound is the pitch wheel going in a positive direction. And then this is the negative. And like we had discussed earlier, the LFO is using aftertouch or pressure. And that basically wraps up this sound. We'll go back to the cookbook and take a look and see some of the things that he'd like for us to play around with. So it says, can you improve this patch? Try replacing the saw with a square and then add fractalize in the triangle mode via Control A. Next, control oscillator 1 volume from the pitch bender, using the pitch wheel with the amount set about 50%. And then maybe add the distortion effect. And then it says here, add pitch W equals overtone to the preset usage description, and then save the preset in your user folder. So that's kind of giving you an instruction on how you would modify a patch and then put in some notes and description and save it with a different name. So it kind of walks you through that process. So here he asks to change the saw, and this is over in the section here on oscillator 1, from saw to square. And then add a little bit of fractalize in the triangle. And that would be, first, that's our new waveform before we fractalize. And then he wanted us to control the oscillator 1 volume from the pitch bender. Seems kind of odd, but try it out. So we'll go over here from the pitch wheel, and then we'll control the oscillator volume. No, I'm going to turn that all the way down. I'm not sure if I got his 50% where he wants it. And that's 0, so 50% here would be halfway from center position to full. So, and then of course there, if you wanted to, we'll click on the save, and then under the usage, this is what he was talking about right here. We would add to that the notes that he had mentioned, which was pitch wheel equals overtone. I'm not gonna mess with that right now. But that's where you would add that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll get into the next one soon.